Hey, check it out. Phil from New York Rocks. We're rocking down here at Evolution in Long Island. Danny Stanton, thank you very much for having me down here. And we're standing right next to no other than John Regan.
Oh, Philly boy, we can. You want to sit? Yeah. We can sit. We don't have to stand.
You know what it is? I've been sitting down. I actually watched the show, and it was phenomenal here.
Thank you.
You rocked it out, man.
Thank you. Well, you were seeing a 2-day-old band right there, 48-hour-old band.
I can't believe it. You guys got it together, and you put it together so fast. And the guys in the band, they're all such great musicians. I know you've been playing with Todd since Frehley's Comet days.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the beginning when you started out in music, even maybe before Frehley's Comet. Talk about where you're from and how you started in the music.
Well, I started in high school. Started playing bass in a high school band in 1968.
Sure. Right.
And
where was that? Where you from? Tell everybody.
Wappingers Falls, New York.
Oh, okay. So you're a New York guy.
I'm a New York guy and never left, and still live in the little village that I was born in.
Wow.
But one thing led to another. I never really chose music as a career, but it just happened, and I never questioned it.
Right.
Had some great club bands up in the Hudson Valley. One of the bands actually ended up becoming a group called Frankie and the Knockouts, which you might know.
Wow.
They had a song called Sweetheart.
Yeah.
Same time I was working with that band doing demos, got a call from Peter Frampton in 1979. Wow. And I joined Peter's band in 79 to 83. And then Peter took some time off and actually met at North Lake Sound in White Plains, the studio I was working at. I walked in there one day and a friend of mine, Joe Wren, that owned the studio, said, let me introduce you to Ace Frehley.
Right.
And Ace was literally laying on the floor. So I stepped over him and I said, nice to meet you. This is a true story.
Yeah.
And, he was out of Kiss.
Yeah.
I was out of Frampton. We decided to get together with Anton
So you
and
figured,
jam.
let me get off the floor and talk to the guy, right?
If you ever get up, I actually got down on the floor and we chatted. But we put a band.
Bonded.
We bonded on the floor.
It
was that nice shag carpeting. But so we ended up just going to Ace's house in Connecticut, and he said, I got a drummer, and it was Anton Fig. And we just started playing like Zeppelin, Hendrix. We were both kind of fed up with the music business, so we decided to play music for the reason we started to play it.
Right.
That turned into Frehley's Comet, the first Frehley's Comet.
Ace wasn't short of talent. He always had talented musicians around him. He has amazing talent himself.
Absolutely.
But he always had good musicians working with him, like Anton, and Todd. And I was like, these guys are so great, man. I was so into the music because I was a fan, of course, of Kiss. Yeah. But when Ace left Kiss, I was like still an Ace fan because I loved just his style and how he played. Yeah. And and he's singing pretty good too.
He sings great. And he was working his ass off, if I could say that on the air. But he, that first record we did, the Frehley's Comet album, he was really working hard. And he came out. It was
a good solo album.
He did a great solo album. Are you kidding? That's how he met Anton.
Yeah.
And that's how the Frehley's Comet thing happened.
Cool. All right, now you did how much work with Ace? You did how many albums? 2.5, 3?
We did Frehley's Comet.
All right.
Live plus 1 EP.
Right. The
Live plus 4 video.
Right.
Second Sighting and Trouble Walking.
Sure.
And then later on, I produced the compilations, 12 Picks and Loaded Deck.
Wow.
So we actually, for this short amount of time, we put a lot of product out. And it was a blast.
Yeah. And I seen you too, because I used to go from the beginning too, because I was at the first show.
What are you talking about? The guy looks like he's 25.
I just look good like you.
I don't think so. Not me.
Yeah, you look great, man.
God bless you.
You're preserved. You did good for yourself. Yeah, so, all right, so after that, after Ace Frehley, you know what I mean? Because that ended,
1990. I was doing a lot of session work in the city. Got to work with the Stones, Jagger and Bowie on Dancing in the Streets for Live Aid. That was 1985, actually. Wow. And Robin Trower, David Lee Roth, worked with John Waite, was in his band for a couple of years. We were in Scandal. Anton and I did a run with that band. Stephen Stills, which was a highlight. That was 1990. Right. And then Frampton called back up. Right. He had done the Bowie tour. I can remember what it was with the Glass Spider tour. Because David and Peter go back to their childhood days. Peter's father is David's teacher. Right. So we decided to go out on the road. Peter said, you want to try it? Well, I don't know if anybody's going to be there. And we didn't, because he had been off the road for so long. And that basically, we stayed out. He's still out, but in 2010, he had Stanley Sheldon come back in. It was the bass player from Frampton Comes Alive to celebrate the 35th anniversary of that. And really, Peter and Stanley are the only two that are still with us. Sadly, Bobby Mayo passed away, and John Siomos.
When you started with Frampton, were you a touring bass player, or you actually started out with the albums? Because there's musicians that are studio musicians, and sometimes there's touring guys, and it's like mixed or it's both.
Especially then, like the country music scene is like that. But with Peter, it was 1979. He was touring the Where I Should Be record. You know, Frampton Comes Alive was out in '77. Huge. We all know that.
That was like the biggest live album selling album of all history.
By law, you had to own it. So anyway, I joined in '79. We recorded. We did many albums. I co-wrote with him. We actually we won a Grammy for an album called Fingerprints, which was an instrumental. So he got recognized as a guitar player, which the focus of a lot of his fame in the Comes Alive era was the looks. But he never stopped being an amazing guitar player.
That's why he went so far. Even when he did the movie, when he did Sgt. Pepper's.
Don't ever ask him about that one. He doesn't want to talk about that.
Right. I enjoyed it anyhow. It doesn't matter.
Me too. And
they needed somebody, and he kind of filled that shoe, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't supposed to be Gone with the Wind. It was entertainment, and I thought it was great.
Yeah, comedy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now, after Frampton and after all that's been done, the Frehley thing, and you went where? What happened next?
What year? Give me a year. I remember my years.
The 90s, like now.
Well, actually, from 1990... right up until 2010, I was with Peter.
You were Peter, yeah.
And we toured every year. We recorded a few records, and like I said, in 2010, it was the 35th anniversary of Frampton Comes Alive, and Sheldon showed up and played bass, which he should.
All right. So now let's talk about Todd, and you hooking up with Todd because you played with him with Frehley's Comet.
Sure.
Let's talk about how that regenerated again. I know you guys are probably still friends and everything. Go ahead.
Absolutely. We stayed in touch. Todd used to come and see us out on the road when we were out in California.
Right.
And what happened was, the last tour I did with Frampton was in South America and Australia in 2010.
Wow.
And I would get to the airports and the hotels, and there would be people there with Frehley's Comet records, and Ace Frehley records.
Yeah.
And I said, people still remember. I was actually, I was astounded that people still remembered. So we were coming up on the 25th anniversary of the first release of Frehley's Comet. So I figured, let me call Todd, see if he would even consider trying to put the band together and doing like 10 shows, do New York, New Jersey, just
why not?
Detroit, Chicago.
Right.
He was up for it.
Yeah.
Well, I kept trying to get a hold of Ace, and I eventually saw him down at the Chiller convention a couple Octobers ago, and he really didn't seem interested in it. So from that point on, I figured, okay, it's over. It's a dead issue. And then last year, this guy Mitch Lafon, who is a Canadian rock journalist, was doing a Kiss tribute album called A World with Heroes for cancer hospice research in Canada. I saw it on Facebook. So I messaged him. I said, this is, we've all sadly lost a lot of people that we know to cancer, and we know that the hospice people are angels on earth. So I called Mitch up. I actually messaged him. I said, anything I could do, I'll be happy to. So I ended up recording Deuce with Tommy Denander and some other incredible musicians. And then Mitch said, how about doing Breakout? I said, well, we got to get Todd. So Todd said, great. So we basically recut that.
Because you're East Coast and he's West Coast
but now you make records over the phone. It's very strange. So we did that, and what happened was it got such good response when the record came out. The critical, it ended up being a double album, and hundreds of people donated their services for a great cause. And Todd and I got approached by Mitch because there were some Canadian promoters that wanted to. They said, "Well, these guys want to tour." I don't know. We don't have a band. How are we going to tour? So he said, well, if you need a guitar player, I can suggest this young guy, Sean Kelly. And he blows me away.
I seen him tonight. I was like, I really enjoy listening to him. And he's really cool guy, nice guy.
He's a nice guy. He's a sweetheart. A rare combination of incredible musicianship and a good person.
I always admired you in Frehley's Comet, of course you're playing, but your personality too. You're a very nice person, you know what I mean? You're very focused, you know?
I appreciate
it's cool,
it.
man. It's great talking to you all the time, you know?
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
So you're welcome.
Right.
So what happened was, now we got 3 people in the band. It's like, is this going to work? So I contacted Danny Stanton, who I've known since the Fraley's Comet days.
Right.
And really the only business person I know that I trust.
Yeah.
He's just
hard, yeah,
he is the top shelf. He's the best as far as I'm concerned. I said, look, here's this concept. Tell me straight. If you don't think this is even worth looking into, we'll just drop it.
Yeah.
And he said, well, let me put some work into it. And out of the generosity of his heart, as you see everything that's here.
It's a very professional place. The sound is so great here. I love it.
Yeah, thanks.
It has the whole look too, you know.
He only knows how to do it one way, and that's the right way.
That's right.
And that's such a breath of fresh air. So he did a little snooping around, and there was some interest. So now we needed a drummer. And he suggested Stet.
Yeah.
And we became 4x8. Danny actually came up with the name.
Good energy here.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's only going to get better from here, my friend. Only going to get better. We got new material coming. You know, right now we're going to be playing some of I call it the heritage.
Yeah.
Well,
you got to get the kinks out.
Well,
Everybody got to get out there and play live, right? Right.
And also we're going to play music from our history to honor the people that helped form us musically. Because everybody we played with, you take from. You not take, it's just you absorb style. It influences you, and we're going to honor it. And I think the people like it. We're going to do some Cheap Tricks, some Humble Pie, some Frampton, some Wasp. Some Crash Kelly. So it's just I haven't been this excited in years, and I thought I was past that, being the old geezer that I is.
But you look great, and I want to thank you. This is a fantastic interview with you, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys rocking. I know you're going to be rocking in the area. You could tell them. I think it's in a couple of months.
June 5th and 6th. June 5th in Long Island. June 6th up at the Chance in Poughkeepsie.
Right.
Come out and see us. We will be thrilled to see all of you.
And you have a website. I know you have your personal one, and they have the one
4x8 on Facebook page. There'll be a 4x8.com at some point, but. Cool. Right now, we're just getting the music together, writing new stuff. So
and there's the man right there.
There he is, the one, the only.
People, man. We're gonna make it happen.
Look at what is he doing?
There he is.
Oh, see that?
All right, man. Well, you're watching New York Rocks. Who rocks better than us, John, man?
Yeah, that's all right.
Come on.
God bless. Peace.
Nobody.
Who's better than us?
A little New York in you.
That's
He's the
right.
New York guy, right
I
there.
need a cannoli. I need a Sfogliatelle, man.
We got to get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We got to get after those guys.
I played there.
Smack them around. I'm going to get. Smack them around. Give them a fresh one, you know?
Yeah, I give you a tree of these. God bless. Peace.
All right, Rock. Thanks for watching, man. Peace out, everybody.